Hey, what's going on, everyone? Hey, when I first created Points Blank Travel and when I first created this channel, my goal was to educate, motivate, and elevate people to want to travel around the country, around the world for little or no money out of their pocket. You know, I wanted to teach people all about points and miles, but then I also had another goal. I wanted to teach people who didn't know about credit or have never been exposed to credit or never been educated on credit. I wanted to teach them how to obtain credit, build credit, even rebuild credit, establish credit, whatever you want to call it. And that was my goal for the channel. Lately, you know, I've had a lot of people approach me. They'll, hey, Rod, I saw your video. I love the content, man. It was great, but I just have one small problem. And I'm like, you have one problem? Hey, did I do something wrong in the video? Was it something you didn't like? They was like, no, man, the video was cool. I just can't get approved for a credit card, you know, and it kind of tear me up. But hopefully in this video, I can put out some information that will help people get past this problem. Hey, welcome to Points Blank Travel. My name is Rod, and my goal for this channel is to talk about credit, credit cards, points and miles, and how to travel around the country, around the world for little or no money out of your pocket. If this is something you're interested in, please subscribe to the channel. Like the video, and especially this video, man, share it with your family and friends. If you know someone that's trying to get reestablished with credit or some young person that's trying to establish credit, please share this video with them. I'm not worried about the views. I just want to put the knowledge out there. You know, and instead of applying for credit cards like Credit One or companies you've never heard of, I can't count how many letters I get in the mail or applications I get in the mail or pre-approvals from companies I've never even heard of. And, you know, if I was in a situation where I was maybe desperate or just wanted a credit card, I would apply. I'll be honest with you, I would apply. But then when you look at the fees, you know, and you look at the interest rates, it's ridiculous. It's highway robbery. And it's sad that they're taking advantage of people that may have been put in a bad situation. It irritates me, it frustrates me. And you guys know I'm always hyped. And I don't want to get hyped in a bad way, but it's irritating to see companies out there taking advantage of good people that may have fallen into a bad situation. You know, after this video, instead of hearing I can't get approved for a credit card, hopefully a lot of people reach out to me and say, hey, Rod, I finally got approved. That would not only make my day, it would make my year. I can probably stop doing videos once I start receiving those messages, but I won't. I'm going to keep dropping this knowledge. I'm going to keep dropping it every chance I get. You know, instead of applying for credit cards from companies you've never heard of and all these imposters, why not try a reputable company like Discover or Capital One? Why not get the Capital One secured Mastercard? And that's what I'm going to be talking about in this video. You know, instead of messing with these companies and you keep getting denied, let's try a company and a way where you can get approved, you know, and yes, they will have a security deposit. It's typically not that steep. I know with Capital One, I want to say the maximum that may be required is $200. You can deposit more and get a higher credit limit, but right now we just want to crawl before we walk and get started with maybe a $200 credit limit. You know, instead of hearing I can't get approved, what I want to do is start hearing I can get approved. Rod, I got approved. And man, again, that will make my year. And with that being said, let's roll, baby. Okay, let's take a look at the Capital One secured Mastercard. If you look right here, you'll notice credit level rebuilding. This card is used to rebuild credit. I wanted to point that out first and foremost. Read all 13,519 reviews. And that tell you right there that there are a lot of people that have used this method to rebuild their credit. And I can guarantee you at least probably half of these people, maybe even more, I don't know the exact number, that actually have moved on to unsecured cards and cards that earn rewards. But, you know, right here, apply now, and I will be going back and I will be clicking this button just so we can see exactly what's being asked during the application process. Annual fee, this is a beautiful thing. Nothing, $0 annual fee. Doesn't cost anything to have this card. Now coming over to the purchase rate, it does have a 26 0.99% variable APR. Variable meaning that this can change. This can go up to 28%, 32%. So with this being said, one thing that I always preach, pay your balance in full each month. And this here doesn't even matter. This could say 2,000,000%. If you pay your balance in full each month, you will not be affected by the purchase rate or any APR. Right here, I love what it says. Take control and build your credit with responsible use. Key word right here is being responsible. I'm a firm believer in bad things happen to good people. I know I've had my credit score tank, and it wasn't because I didn't want to pay my bills. Maybe I was in a position where I couldn't pay my bills, or something else may have happened. But once you get in a position where you can pay your bills, take control. Build your credit with responsible use. You have to be responsible, meaning don't max out the card knowing that you're either not going to want to pay it or you may not have the means to pay it. It's pretty simple. Coming down a little bit, I do want to go over each of these. Required security deposit. You'll either be required to put down a $49, $99, or $200. The key word here, refundable minimum security deposit. Access to an authorized bank account is required to make your security deposit. Naturally, they have to be able to pull the money out to be able to have the collateral to have this secured Mastercard from Capital One. Your initial credit line. Make the minimum required security deposit and you'll get an initial credit line of $200. Doesn't sound like a lot, but again, this is at that crawl before you walk stage. We're not worried about what the credit limit is right now. We're just worried about establishing credit so later on down the line, we can get a higher credit limit. Plus, you do have the option. If you deposit more money before your account opens, you can get a higher credit line. I mean, that's going to be up to you. I'm cool with the $200 because, again, I'm just trying to crawl before I walk and then walk before I start running and taking advantage of these points and miles and cash back cards. Access a higher credit line. You'll get access to a higher credit line after making your first 5 monthly payments on time. I know a couple of people that have actually had this card, and after that 5th month, that 6th month, they get a credit increase. Personalized payment. This is key. Capital One is making this extremely difficult to mess up. You choose how you want to make your personalized payment. Now, first and foremost, you pick your own monthly due date and payment method. Check. That's kind of obsolete. Not too many people carry checks anymore. I'm going to say some people do, but not too many. Online or at a local branch. You're going to have a hard time. They're out there, but you're going to have a hard time finding a Capital One local branch. So online is probably going to be your best option. It's secure, it's fast, but picking your own monthly due date is key. That's what's going to be important. If you know you get paid the 10th, don't make your payday the 10th. I'm a firm believer. If you get paid the 10th, don't make it the 15th either before you spend all your money. I've done that before, and I'm not being funny. I've done that. Make it like the 11th or the 12th. Probably if I get paid the 10th, I'll go ahead and pay my bills now on the 10th, but I don't want to put myself in a crunch and say, okay, I get paid on the 10th, I'm going to make the due date the 10th. And then we all know when payday comes around, you may have so many other things to do that it slip your mind. So I would always put it 1 to 2 days after my payday, not 5. 5, your money may be gone, and we don't want that to happen. Scrolling down, getting started is easy. First step, complete and submit your application for a secure Mastercard from Capital One. Upon approval of your application, you'll be notified of the security deposit amount required for your account. Once you make your security deposit, you'll receive your card in 2 to 3 weeks. This is pretty cut and dry. Then it goes down. There's a little video if you want to watch a video on how the card works. Then you got all the different benefits, account management, protect. Those are other Capital One cards. Once you graduate and get to that unsecured card, these are some of the other benefits that Capital One. I'm not going to go over all that right now. We're more worried about being able to get approved for the Capital One secured card, which shouldn't be that difficult. You know, the $49.99 or $200 security deposit, 2 to 3 weeks, you should be well on your way. I'm going to go ahead right now and click apply now. It's going to open up another window. It's going to tell you some of the other stuff just to make sure you can't say you didn't see it. You know, the 26.99% variable APR, annual fee, zero card network, Mastercard. And then when we get down to the application, now it tell you right here, if you approve, you will be required to make a deposit before receiving your card. That's common sense. We already read that a couple times. So first name, if you use your middle initial, last name, pretty standard on any application. Date of birth, social security number. Are you a U.S. citizen? Yes or no? Contact information. Residential address. Now, if you're one of the people out there that use a P.O. box is not valid. That will not work. You will have to use a residential address. If you have an apartment, your apartment or suite, your zip code, city, state, and then if you have a mailing address that's different from your residential address, you can add it here. Email address. Let's talk about email addresses. And I'm not being funny here. If you have to create an email address with just your first initial and last name, if your email address right now, and you've had it since college or since high school, is hit the club every Friday at gmail.com, you probably don't want to use that email address for this credit card application. If that's the case, please create one that's got your name, something that makes sense. I love birds. I don't care what it is, but don't make it something that will blow your chances of being approved. Then you have your primary phone number. That's typical a cell number in this day and age. You do have the options to put whether it's mobile, home, or work. Now, your financial information. Employment status. And one thing I want to point out, I don't know how it works. I've never applied for a card when I was in this situation. But hey, if you're employed, self-employed, retired, student, all these could be applicable. But if you're unemployed, the chances are pretty high you won't get approved. So I will probably wait until I'm employed. Now, you could try it. It won't kill you. But I don't know anybody that really get approved when they're unemployed, because how are you going to pay your bill? Okay, getting out of that. Total annual income. I'm going to read this. Alimony, child support, separate maintenance income need not be revealed if you do not choose to have it considered on a basis for repaying this loan. Now, with total annual income, it's the key word here is total. If you have investments or you get paid once a month from some supplemental income, you can include that. Now, don't inflate this and it's some you hope you get every month or you may get every month. It's got to be something that you definitely get every month. A lot of people, and also don't put your take-home pay here, your total annual gross income, what you make before taxes, before Social Security, before Medicaid, Medicare, before your 401k, before all that stuff. How much money do you make before they start taking these deductions out? Again, there are some I don't want to call them tricks. It's just reality. You know, I have investment income. So when I'm filling out an application, I'll put how much dividends I make per year. I'll add that in there on most applications, not all of them, most. Monthly rent or mortgage. That's self-explanatory. If you pay $200 a month in rent, you pay $200. If you pay $1,000, you pay $1,000. What I like to do, if I do have a roommate or a spouse or whatever, I would cut it in half. I mean, if you and your spouse share the rent, don't put that your rent is $1,000, but you're only responsible for $500. Put what you're responsible for. Do you have any bank accounts? Checking only, savings only, neither checking and savings. Those are your options. I probably wouldn't choose neither. If you don't have one, you might want to get one. You know, if offered, would you be interested in blank checks to use for cash advances? I'm going to tell you, you do what you want to do. It's optional. I personally would put no at this stage because you're trying to you're trying to rebuild your credit. You really don't want to have several different means to go and spend beyond your means, if that makes sense. So I wouldn't worry about it in checks right now. Then coming down here, I have reviewed and agreed to the terms of the electronic communications disclosure, English or Spanish, some of the important disclosures. Then right now you hit continue and then it's going to roll on. Obviously I can't hit continue. I didn't put any information there. But this right here is the actual process of applying for a Capital One secured Mastercard. It's your first step. If you're thinking about a baby and they're crawling, and when they get up and they take that first step, they may stumble a little bit, but eventually they'll start stepping, start walking, and start moving around. Next thing you know, they're running, you can barely catch them. This is your first step. Well, there you have it. Now, instead of hearing, I can't get approved for a credit card, I've shown you a way to get approved. It's time to take advantage and just be smart about it. Crawl before you walk. Don't apply for all these different credit cards that have your worst intention at heart. Let's find a way to get people approved so we can get more people into this travel, this points and miles game. Hey, remember, do me a favor. Subscribe to the channel, like the video, share it with your family and friends. I didn't say it at the beginning, but share it with people you don't even like, because you never know who can get something out of this information. And as always, shoot for the moon. If you don't make it, you'll be amongst the stars, baby. I'll be coming at you soon, dropping even more knowledge, and I hope everyone have a great day. See you later.